I'm Marissa.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Kia.
And you're watching Passing On the Mantle with Pastor Undena.
Welcome to another episode of Passing on the Mantle with Pastor Undena, keeping the foundation and doctrines of the church. And we are with, you want me to call you prophetess? Okay. Antoinette Harris from Zoe Ministries. Archbishop Bernard Jordan is your pastor.
Absolutely.
So we already know that we're going to get a wealth of information. We are about to discuss the legacy of the family. So, tell us what you do.
Well, I'm a life coach for men coming home from prison. I do a reentry project. And I do that out of love. It's just what I do. It's what I love to do. It's part of... It's just my passion that I have moved into purpose.
See, we're in, why I asked you, because I know that you're really in the trenches of culture and family, and really the disparity that has gone on with our black men being in prison in America, especially in New York. And so you know the statistics, you know all the negativity on how men are getting incarcerated and the effects that is having on family, whether it be someone that's in church or out of church. So please share with us the importance of really trying to keep our children out of prison.
Wow, there was a saying for children who have parents who are incarcerated that they are at risk. But our children really aren't at risk as much as they need to have mental counseling, they need to have the attention, because this is not just a problem with the incarcerated. It is a ripple effect.
Okay.
And it really touches the family, the community, and everyone else involved. So to think it's isolated with just the person that's incarcerated is sad, because now you're leaving the effects, whether it's the family members that have to support, because you pay to go to prison.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't...
Yeah, you're not just in prison, you have to pay. You pay, that's why you work.
Okay.
You pay. And so, but I wanted to bring it around to the children, because I'm connected with an organization called Children of Promise.
Okay.
And they are taking care of the children who have parents who are incarcerated.
Wow, okay.
And so these children are ostracized sometimes in schools because they don't have parents stay who's going to come.
Right.
They don't have a connection with anyone who cares. So a lot of the times they come from situations that they have nothing to do with, but yet they suffer as a result. So this organization gives the children free camp, a lot of social skills,
Okay.
and a lot of opportunities for education and different, computers or whatever they're doing, whatever they need, whether it's clothes or not. Like Jay-Z's mother drove up a big 16-wheeler. She had someone bring, and she came and brought bikes, clothes, anything these children needed,
Wow.
they had. There was no problem for that. And a lot of organizations are attached to this. So this is a major issue, the children of incarcerated parents. As a matter of fact, I'm one of them. My father raised me from prison. So
How did that happen?
didn't... How did it happen, and which aspect?
I mean, okay, if you don't mind sharing.
So,
how did he go to prison, and how did he parent you from prison?
Okay, so my grandmother had 5 children, and all 3 of her sons went to prison at the same time.
Wow.
My father got a ride with his 2 notorious brothers, and he was in the car. And
By
they robbed a bank.
association.
Yeah, and so he went to prison for over 13 years. And so when that happened, I was told as a child he's in school. So the lie perpetuated issues because I no longer smelt him, and that's all I could say to them. I don't smell him. Where is he? But
Right.
school, and they wouldn't let me see him. So these children face a lot of those issues, and so because I couldn't see him, I started to make up reasons why I couldn't. And so when I went to school, because my name, is Antoinette, I said my name was Tanya. Because then, the parents remarry, different things happen. and in a child's life. Grandparents are raising you because they have to,
Right.
not because they really want to. They don't even have a grace for that.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
they do it because they have to, otherwise where will you go?
Right.
So you find that children are in precarious positions and they don't know how to handle it. So in certain programs, there's mentorships and there's a connection. So what I found is that there wasn't that for me. And when my father came home, he came home with a suitcase, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do
With this, right?
with this and you? So I coached him
Okay.
from that point until he got everything back. 25 years of being divorced from my mother, they eventually remarried after 3 years.
Wow.
And
So did she
everything-
wait for him?
No, she remarried. See, and people move on with their lives, but
So how?
there are many.
So how is it that, how can we speak to these families where your father, by association, wound up going to jail for something that he didn't even do, right?
Well, you speak to these families. See, when we're talking, I was listening to a lot of people who speak about church and what's happening. You know, you have a lot of broken people inside the house.
Yes.
And I used to be a bail bondsman and a bounty hunter. I know. So, and I'm saying that because I would secretly get calls. Can you go get Johnny out of jail? And Mama would be about 80 years old. Grandma,
Wow.
she would put her house up
Wow.
to get her baby boy out of prison. And I really only deal with men.
Okay.
And so when these things are happening, you realize, and then they come to church with all this weight, and you can't tell.
So how is the church, because I've heard stories growing up, pray for my son, he's in the streets. That's what they used to call it. He's in the streets. Pray for my son, he actually got now locked up. Matter of fact, last week, I just so happened to be in the hair store, and they had some Christian music coming out. I was like, oh, yeah, so I'm in there shopping, jamming, And then I was about to walk out the store, and for some reason, the lady said, would you pray for my son? He just got picked up yesterday. And I immediately started praying, because what I found, someone said to me one time, Pastor, when I asked you to pray for me, you did it. I was so shocked. I said, why would you be shocked? He said, because most people just say, okay, and they keep moving. You actually stopped and prayed for me at that moment when I asked. So it was unfamiliar to them that someone would actually do and not just use it as, we're going to do lunch and never do. So when she asked me to pray for her son, that was just like Think Friday. I was like, of course. So we prayed, not even knowing that her son, and I'm praying for her son that, he would be free from, I was just like, being prophetic. And then when she told me, I said, well, what am I actually praying for? Because I really didn't ask. She said, my son got arrested yesterday. So I'm looking at her, this woman who's working in this hair shop, and now she has her son who got locked up over something that she doesn't even know if he did or not. And the dynamic just now being a Christian in a Christian household, how you got caught up in the street some kind of way, and now you're getting locked up. And how does that affect the family? So now she's coming to church, if you will, and wants everybody to pray for her son. And then the church says, oh, well, he ain't even a member. We can't do that.
But, it doesn't have anything to do with church. It has nothing to do with church. People find themselves in different situations, and people make mistakes.
Life
Happens. However, most of at least 75% of those that are in prison are cannot make bail and are waiting for sentencing. If you listen to the news, you hear where someone who's very wealthy gets arrested and he's out on bail. First of all, he can turn himself in, and then he can get himself out, and then he's home and he can work on his case.
Right.
But most of the time, you cannot make bail. The bail is set so high that you can't make it. And the other portion is that they really set you up to take a plea bargain. And so a lot of men are sitting in jail because they are not willing to take a plea bargain because they're not, they didn't do
Right.
what you're accusing
them
so
of doing.
it's not a justice system, it's an injustice system.
Yes.
And you're not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until you can prove you're innocent. And I believe that the difference between a businessman and you know,
Somebody off the street.
yeah, anyone off the street is the lawyer you can afford.
Wow.
You know, you have to be able to afford the right language to get you out. It's what you say. It's how they present it. It's how they fix it up. You know, so this is why they don't want to take public defenders. This is, and you know, the more money you have, the better attorney you can get
course.
because he knows the language. He knows he's having fun with the judge. He's, you know, it's a lot of politics. You know, so you have to transform.
So while men are sitting around, or even some women that are sitting around waiting, you know, I watched a video. I know someone that works at Rikers Island, and there was a video that was out, and to hear the stories of men who did like 25, 20, 30 years on something that it was proven that they didn't do, that they was just waiting for someone to bail them out, case gone to court, the whole bit, and still sitting there doing time for something. You can't now, I mean, how do us as a church have a voice in the community to kind of work with the justice system to be able to stop this injustices?
Well, the first thing I tell my guys is that as soon as you come home, because we walk them 6 months out, and as soon as you come home, the one thing that they must do is find a community to connect to. And I didn't realize that a house of worship is the only place pretty much where a judge will take a letter.
Wow.
You can't get it from grandma, auntie. I don't care if you've been good, you were with me all day. But if your pastor, your rabbi, or your imam will write a letter for you and say something about your character. Let's say you're there serving, find a place to serve, sweep the floor, go and be a part. You have more of a chance to have a hearing of justice than you will if you say, I'm just going to do this thing by myself. You can't do anything by yourself. And that's what I press that. You can't.
Wow. So what about now, okay, dad got arrested in front of his family, especially for something he didn't do. The fracturing that happens in the psyche of the children, the wife, now you're gone for 20 years. Your children now are grown. The children never got a chance to see you while you were in prison. How do you reacclimate to your household to be the father in the house when you've been gone for so long?
Well, there's correspondence that happens. You can either go and visit, and then there's something set up between the parents. I write about 60 letters a week to men inside.
Wow.
And the correspondence, because the children, because of the organization Children of Promise, they have uncles, fathers, brothers. So when they come home, I get them.
Okay.
So what's happening is there's different things set up. There's like the teleprompters where they're working that way. And then they also have different, mental health counselors get involved.
Okay.
Because
there
sometimes
does
the mother,
something, you can get a serious breakdown. I've heard of so many stories.
It's a lot of breakdowns.
Mental breakdowns with men and women being in prison, and just the atmosphere and being in seclusion and not being able to go see the sun for days and days and years and all those things that play a part in your, I would even say PTSD when you come home and you almost like shell shocked because now you don't want to do.
Some of the guys listen, in our university, what we're teaching is a lot of social skills as well. You come home from prison, don't touch me. In prison, do not rub up against me, do not touch me. But you come out and you get a Metro card, and now you're on a busy subway or bus, and everyone's touching you, and you're freaking out. Yeah, PTSD is real. And they are learning how to be acclimated to even speaking eye to eye. Many women don't realize that. Well, if a woman hasn't been to prison, she doesn't know what her man's been through.
Right, exactly.
You come home and you want to bring your plate in the room. I want to eat by myself because I have to guard my food.
Right.
I can't. And so now you want to come have dinner?
Wow.
You want...
Wow.
It's a lot of challenges, but guess what? The guys that I'm meeting are... a lot of them are going to school. I'm like, do the time. Don't let the time do you.
Right.
If you don't have a high school diploma, get a high school diploma. If you didn't go to college, go to college. If that system is not in your college, let me know. I will work on that part. I'll get a college in there, get someone in there to work with. If you want it, they'll give it to you. But they have replaced that stuff.
Wow.
They've replaced it because people weren't asking for books. So let's give them some gangster
Video,
movies.
yeah, right, to incite more violence and
Yeah,
more craziness
sure,
in your mind.
because we don't care about you.
Antoinette, oh my gosh, this has been like so enriching, so enlightening, and I definitely going to have you back because we need to deal with, this incarceration issue in the family, because now husbands are not in the household anymore, then our sons are growing up to be in the street. It's a total breakdown of the family. And though we already know that it is a system that is designed to do it, but we have to be that voice and church in the community to say, this has to end, and we have to put a stop to it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so very much. I'm gonna tell Archbishop you did a good job too. So once again, yes, we love you, Archbishop. Once again, we want to say thank you all for tuning in to Passing on the Mantle with Pastor Undena, keeping the foundation and doctrines of the church. We love you. Go to our website, ptmu1.com. Subscribe, share, like on our YouTube page under Passing on the Mantle, as well as Facebook as Passing on the Mantle, and Twitter on PTMU, as well as Instagram on PTMU. Thank you once again for tuning in. We love you. See you next time.